What's going on, guys? Tom Costanza here, back with another YouTube video. Posting videos every single Sunday morning. Today, we are going to be making apple pie with a nice fancy lattice on the top, a little weave pattern. Let's get started. Okay, the very first step that we're gonna do is cut our apples and do all of the prep work. So I like to cut all of my apples extremely thin just because they layer better once you arrange them into the pie pan. And when you cut into the pie at the end of the day, they're not gonna be sliding all over the place, falling out, creating a big mess. I like a nice put together slice of pie. So I'm gonna get to work. We have Honey Crisp apples and Golden Delicious. We're gonna do kind of a mix of both. I'm gonna turn off the camera and we'll catch up once I have all of my apples cut. Okay, so right here we have 5 apples cut up into very thin slices. We have a 6th apple just in case we need extra, but I think 5 will be enough to fill this pan that we have here. I have our oven preheated to 425. Our next step is we're gonna make a little sauce to pour over the entire apple pie before we put it into the oven, and that's gonna give it some extreme flavors. So this consists of flour, sugar, water, brown sugar, and butter. So we're gonna put these into a pan, simmer them over a low heat, and then we're also going to prepare our pie mold. Half a cup of unsalted butter. I'm gonna melt this first. Okay, so we have our half a cup of butter melting here. We also need to add 3 tablespoons of flour to it and mix together until a small paste. Okay, so right now what you're seeing is our mixture with sugar, water, butter, and flour. We have to add a half of a cup of light brown sugar, and then we have to bring to a boil. Once it reaches a boil, then we reduce the temperature and let it simmer. Everything's mixed in pretty thoroughly. Now we just let it boil. Now, while we're waiting for our mixture to come to a boil, I'm gonna push our apples to the side, and then we're going to lay our pie crust into our pie mold. Yes, I did not make my own pie crust. Roast me in the comments down below. This is going to be a simple recipe for apple pie. Really the most important part here, one, is to make sure that you don't have any wrinkles in it. But second thing, which is probably more important than the first rule, is to make sure that all of the edges are touching the outside of the pan. That way it develops a crust. You don't want any air in between the crust and the pot. Now that our pie crust is properly in, next step is to load in our apples. It's not really an order to how you do this. You just want to fit in as many as you can. I like to fit them in as tight as possible. Okay, so everything's working out insanely great right now. We did have to use our 6th apple for the apple pie, so cut into that. We have all 6 apples in here. We have our liquid mixture behind me simmering. Now we get to the arts and crafts part. We have our 2nd pie crust, and we are going to cut it into thin strips. That way we can make a nice weave lattice pattern. I'm using a pizza cutter to do the cutting just because it's nice and easy. So I'm gonna cut them into like 3/4 inch to inch strips. Easiest way to do it, to be honest, is to just take your box, go like this, run along the box. Perfectly straight line. And you have about another 3/4 inch to an inch right along the box. Perfectly straight line. Keep doing that all the way across. Here we have our perfect strips. Now gets to the tricky part. This part you do not want to mess up. We're going to mock out our weave right here. I basically did every other one and it goes sideways. You probably shouldn't combine them right away. One goes under. Next one goes over. Next one goes under. And last one is over. Easiest way to pick this up, believe it or not, use your pie box, roll everything up. I lied. I'm not really sure the best way to do this. Not perfect right now, but can easily be fixed. Everybody relax in the comment section. We're okay. Now the next thing, once we have our lattice on, is to cinch the lattice to the under pie crust. And then once cinched, very carefully run your pizza cutter around the edges. Okay, now the final step, this is where things get extremely messy. We need to pour our mixture that's been simmering behind me over top of this. However, we do not want to create any spillage. So let's do that. Okay, and then once everything has been fully poured on to the apple pie, we have our oven preheated at 425. We're gonna put the pie in the oven for 15 minutes. And then once 15 minutes passes by, we're going to reduce the temperature to 350 degrees. And then we are going to let it bake for a remaining time of 35 to 45 minutes until the apples are soft and until the top is a golden brown crusty color. So we're gonna put this in the oven and we'll check back in when it's time to come out. All right, everybody, so here's our pie, and into the oven we go, again, for 15 minutes to start. Here we go. Check back in 15 minutes. Here's a quick update at 15 minutes. Now turn it down to 350 and put it in for remaining 35 to 45. Okay, everybody, the time has come. Our pie is out of the oven. The pie is semi-cool. My girlfriend is a little bit hungry, and I think the pie is still pretty hot, but we're hungry for some apple pie. So I'm gonna cut into this. We're gonna show you what it looks like, and I'm gonna tell you how good it is because I made it. All right, here we go. This is the moment of truth. This is what everybody's been waiting for. No, I don't have a pie spatula, so we're just using this knife. Looks incredible. Now let me show you. You can see a whole bunch of different layers in the pie, crust on top. I'm excited for it. I'm gonna zoom back out and then we're gonna take a test bite. Okay, let's see what we got here. Like the video. So I hate to say it, my girlfriend was right. This is the perfect temperature for the pie. It's still warm. The apples actually still have a little bit of like a snap to them when you bite into them. And the layering on the top is crispy. So it's got a mixture of like softness from the liquid that we pulled over it. The apples have a little bit of a snap, and then we have a crunch from the layover on top. This with a scoop of vanilla ice cream would just be absolutely perfect. Similar to the banana bread, my mouth is watering as I'm describing it, so it is just extremely good. That was really good. All right, guys, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for next week's video. Have some exciting stuff coming next week. And if you haven't watched the previous videos, go watch them as well. Like the video, subscribe, and I will see you next Sunday. Peace.